Alright, so I just finished watching Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, another DC animated film, and another great DC animated film. Now, the year started off with Batman Gotham by Gaslight, and I wasn't a big fan of that. I felt it strayed way too far from the comic to be considered a good adaptation, right? But this movie, Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, just continues what they were already doing in Suicide Squad Assault on Arkham, right? Setting up the team, setting up the world and everything. Same art style. And the last few years, most of the DC animated films have all looked similar because they're trying to keep it all in one universe. Well, I mean, there's several universes, but it's all in the same continuity. And this movie takes advantage of that in a great fucking way. Now, I'm going to spoil the shit out of the movie, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's definitely worth watching. Way more so than Gotham by Gaslight. This is way better. And it's a movie they can only do in animation because it directly ties into another animated film that's not the last Suicide Squad film. It's another one. But yeah, go watch it if you haven't already. I'm going to spoil it. Anyway, here we go. The movie starts with Black Manta and Vertigo, right? And they're like driving to their destination, right? And it's all setting up a big train heist sequence where we get Vertigo and Deadshot and a few other characters. I had no idea who they were. You know, I had no idea who these other two characters were. And it didn't matter because by the end of the train sequence, they all fucking die except for Deadshot. But Black Manta wasn't there. So Black Manta's still alive. He was just driving the vehicle to get them to the train, right? So, nothing to worry about. Black Manta's fine. It was the only moment of the film he was in. Black Manta doesn't come back for the rest of the film. Kind of disappointing. I love Black Manta. I want to see more of him. He didn't even say, like, 2 lines. But at least we got to see him a little bit. But anyway, yeah, the train heist was cool. It started off kind of lame, and I was like, this is really predictable. This is really, like, boring. And then it gets to the end, and this huge twist happens, and then another twist happens, and then another twist happens. And then, before you know it, everybody, including Vertigo, has their heads blown off, except for Deadshot, who's been working with Amanda Waller to figure out who is the rat in the group, right? And it turns out it was Vertigo, and Vertigo gets his head blown off, which surprised the hell out of me, because Vertigo is becoming a better-known villain through the TV shows and stuff, so people know who Vertigo is, at least they know the name, and it was just surprising to see him just get offed in, like, the first 5 minutes. But then you had Deadshot, played brilliantly by Christian Slater. Christian Slater's got a great voice, and he makes a pretty good Deadshot. I mean, I probably would have cast him for some other villain, but, you know, he's fine as Deadshot. And I think he does a pretty damn good job. So after the train sequence, we get, you know, we see them in jail and stuff like that. And Boomerang's in the cell next to Deadshot, and he's flicking him paper boomerangs and stuff like that. And then Deadshot, like, slingshots a fucking paper clip back into Boomerang's eye. Like, ricocheting it off stuff. I thought that was hysterical. But then they get sent on their next mission, which is another covert mission that Amanda Waller's setting up. You know how shady Amanda Waller could be. So she starts gathering the team. You got Deadshot, Boomerang, Harley Quinn, you know, the usual suspects. And then instead of Killer Croc, they add Copperhead, which was an interesting choice. I prefer the Copperhead from Batman Arkham Origins, the female Copperhead. You know, I prefer that version of Copperhead. But this one was cool. He had like a cybernetic tail and stuff like that. He had a little snake tongue, you know. He was kind of funny. Like, they kept cutting to him, and he would just go like, hiss, you know. He would just move his tongue and stuff. Like, I thought that stuff was kind of funny. I mean, there's a lot of good jokes in the film. A few of them don't land, surprisingly. But then again, the ones that don't land are coming from Killer Frost throughout the whole movie. And Killer Frost is another member that's added to the team. And her jokes don't really land that much. I mean, I much prefer Harley Quinn doing the jokes. And every time, like, Killer Frost had a one-liner, it just, like, was not funny at all. But then, when the ending comes around, it kind of makes sense because she turns out to betray everybody in the group, you know? She doesn't really have a good-hearted at all. She's cold as ice, as they would say, right? So that kind of explains why her jokes aren't landing. You know, you're not supposed to like Killer Frost because she is one of the few really evil ones in the end. So you're not supposed to like her at all, right? By the way, a lot of characters die in this fucking movie. A lot of characters die in this movie. They ain't fucking around. And this is all in one continuity, too. It ties in directly with another film, which I'll get to in a second. But first, let me talk about the other new team member, and that's Bronze Tiger. And I love Bronze Tiger, you know. I think he's cool as hell. And he's kind of like Deadshot, you know. He's a redeemable bad guy. He's more of like a mercenary, right? But, you know, he's trying to redeem himself and stuff. He doesn't want to kill any innocent people anymore. And Amanda Waller makes Deadshot the captain because she doesn't trust Bronze Tiger to do the actual dirty work, right? And by the way, Amanda Waller's skinny in the movie. And, you know, that's a thing I don't really like. I don't like a skinny Amanda Waller. I like a big, big Amanda Waller, you know? Like, she should be the same size as Kingpin, you know? Like, she should be a big woman. But, you know, the TV shows made Amanda Waller skinny. The movies, she's a lot skinnier. So it's like, it's alright. As long as the essence of the character is the same, you know, as long as she's still a cold bitch at the end of the day, that's all you need, right? And she is very much a cold bitch throughout the whole movie. But she gives them their mission, and she puts them in a rickety RV, and Harley Quinn goes crazy. She wants to go on a road trip, and then they go after their target, which is Dr. Fate, or a version of Dr. Fate. It kind of blew my mind when he said his name was Dr. Fate, because even though he had the Dr. Fate symbol on his back, his lower back, he had a tramp stamp of the Dr. Fate symbol. It was weird, okay? It was very weird. But, you know, this guy they're going after turns out to be one of the many Dr. Fates. And they make him a male stripper, which is, there's a lot of sex in this animated film, too. Like, I probably wouldn't let little kids watch this at all. There's a lot of sexual innuendo. You even see a full female nude character in the movie. Like, this is not for kids at all. You know, it's very much an adult film. So they're tracking down this Dr. Fate guy. And then, who else is tracking down Dr. Fate? Reverse fucking Flash is also tracking him down. And the last time anybody saw Reverse Flash was Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox. But when I was watching the film, when I was watching this Hell to Pay movie, I wasn't thinking that they were going to tie this into Flashpoint Paradox. I was not thinking that at all. And this is like the big spoiler. That Reverse Flash in Hell to Pay is the same Reverse Flash from Flashpoint Paradox. And at the end of the movie, this is a big spoiler, okay? Definitely watch the film before listening to this. At the end of the movie, Reverse Flash takes off his cowl and he has a bullet hole in his head. He's like, Batman shot me. And he was able to keep himself alive and find this moment in time to where he could get out of hell. Because in the DC universe, there is a heaven and there is a hell. And in this movie, they're going after a magical card that Dr. Fate had until he lost it. But it's this magical card that automatically sends you to heaven when you die, no matter what you did, right? It's like get out of hell free card. I think that's what it says on the card, too. So, of course, that's what Amanda Waller is after. And it's also what Reverse Flash is after, because he is dying slowly, and he is very slow. Like, when he first chases the squad and they're driving away in the RV, I'm like, Reverse Flash should be catching them. You know, that's what I'm thinking, like, the whole time. Like, why isn't Reverse Flash in the RV with them? You know, how is he not caught up by now? And then Deadshot makes the same exact point. He goes, there's something wrong with him. He should have caught us by now, killed us all. It is really intriguing. And they leave this mystery going throughout the whole film. And I didn't think for a second this was tying into Flashpoint Paradox, but it did. And it blew my mind that they crossed it over like that. Like, you need to watch Flashpoint Paradox before watching this. Like, this is a direct tie-in movie. And I love that. Like, I love that they're keeping a continuity with these movies. I'm so excited for the next DC animated film that is set in the same universe. I'm so excited. Obviously, the Batman animated film, Batman Anime, the Japanese animation one, that's not going to be tied into this canon. But the one after that, I think, will be. So, like, right there, like, they are putting this universe together better than the DC live-action films and the Marvel live-action films, okay? Just with, like, a few animated films, We have a more connected universe, a more cohesive universe than any other film universe, right? And it's an animated form. It's fucking amazing. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Reverse Flash is going after the card because he is dying slowly. Amanda Waller wants the card because she is a cruel bitch and she's definitely going to hell. So that's why she wants the card. And there's a third party that wants it, and that's Randall Savage. And I'm going to say it's the same Randall Savage from Justice League Doom. I'm going to say it's the same one because he has this line in the end where he goes, I've lived for thousands of years and I've had my life threatened more in the last 10 because of these metahumans. And Randall Savage probably does the dumbest move I've ever seen any villain in any movie of all time do. And he gets a hold of the card, right? He finally gets the card, right? And he gets Professor Pig, which, by the way, Professor Pig, great fucking villain. He was in the Arkham Knight game. He had his own side story, really super creepy. He has a creepy voice, and he squeals like a pig, which is creepy too. And, you know, when I first saw Professor Pig back in the Beware the Batman animated show, I didn't like him that much when I first saw him. And then when I kept watching that show, and the more he kept coming on screen, like the creepier he kept getting. This character is going to last. Like, this is a good character. Like, he is a good horror character for Batman. But you know, Professor Pig ends up dying. So, you know, they killed his character pretty quick. And his introduction was pretty good, too. They had him in, like, a lab in, like, Arkham Asylum, it looked like. And he was going to scar the other half of Two-Face's face. And I was, like, screaming. I was like, no! Two-Face, no! And Harvey Dent's freaking out. He's like, no! And the scarred half of Harvey's face goes, yeah, do it, do it. It was amazing. And I was, like, so worried for Harvey's good side that was about to get, like, disfigured. I was so worried for him. But, you know, Professor Pig ends up getting stopped. That's the only scene Two-Face is in, which is a little bit of a disappointment. I mean, you got some big villains in this movie that are only in the movie for like a few seconds. And like Black Manta, Two-Face, they're only in the movie for like literally like 10 seconds. Like, but I really enjoyed it. And it really had me on the edge of my seat when I saw Professor Pig about to scar the other half of Harvey's face. I'm like, oh no, no. But yeah, Professor Pig ends up dying in the end by Randall Savage. But before he dies, he puts the Get Out of Hell free card into Randall Savage's chest. And Randall Savage's genius idea is that he's going to put the card in a vital organ, so if the card is removed, he will die and he'll automatically get his Get Out of Hell free card, right? Because it's in him. And if you try to remove it, he'll die. But you need to hold the card in order for it to work. So if somebody removes it, it's not going to work, Randall Savage. Why didn't he think about that? And what happens? Reverse Flash ends up removing it. You know, like, how did Randall Savage not see that coming? Reverse Flash pulls the card out of Randall Savage's chest. Randall Savage dies because he's immortal, but he's not invulnerable. And he even says that in the movie, which means he could probably die from like a gunshot to the head. But anyway, he dies. Reverse Flash has the card. Now, I was kind of hoping Reverse Flash would get to use the card because I really like Reverse Flash. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. And, you know, he's obviously the main villain of this movie, and he ends up dying without the card. Who knows what happened to him? There's even a line where Harley walks into the room and she's like, where'd his body go? You know, like, so Reverse Flash has disappeared in time again. So he could still be alive. Even though it really does look like he's dead, there's still a possibility he could be alive just because his body disappears. But that's because it's going back to connect with the Flashpoint Paradox movie. It's going back in time to that moment where his body really died. It's a crazy twist they do. And they do it with flashbacks and stuff. It's mind-blowing. Like, if you haven't seen this movie, you gotta see this movie. I mean, I already spoiled the hell out of it, so it's gonna be really bad now. But like, if you've never seen this movie and you saw Justice League Flashpoint Paradox and then you see Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, your mind's gonna be blown. It's gonna be like the best twist ever. Like, no other live action film is gonna be able to replicate this. You know, this is some like once in a lifetime stuff right here. This is incredible what they did with this movie. But as I said earlier, a lot of characters died in this movie. A lot died. Blockbuster died. Reverse Flash died. Randall Savage died. Copperhead dies in the end. Killer Frost dies. Vertigo dies. Bronze Tiger dies. And he's actually one of the last deaths of the movie. I think he is the last death of the movie. And what does Deadshot do? Deadshot gives him the card as he's dying, so Bronze Tiger gets out of hell. And he goes to heaven. Which was a touching moment, because we all know Deadshot's a softie. He's a big softie. And Deadshot even gets a moment at the end of the film where he gets to see his daughter again. And it's just a great moment. And they could pull this off really good in the live-action films, too. Because we already set up that Deadshot is in prison with the first Suicide Squad film, right? So now when you do the second Suicide Squad film, maybe his daughter ages like 5-10 years, He hasn't seen her in like years. They could do some crazy emotional shit with that movie. Who knows what they're doing with the next Suicide Squad movie? All I know is that it's not going to top this Hell to Pay movie. If you want to see a great Suicide Squad movie, watch Suicide Squad Assault on Arkham. If you want to see an even better Suicide Squad movie, watch Hell to Pay. And after you've seen these movies, then watch the live action one, and then you might have like a more of appreciation for the live action one. But you'll be able to recognize that it's not as good, right? But that's beside the point. What we're talking about is Hell to Pay. And if you haven't seen it, definitely see it. I enjoyed every minute past the train sequence. The train sequence is the first 5 minutes, and I was just like, is this going to be good? I'm not getting a good feeling. And then when you get to past the train sequence, you get to the opening credits, it just gets better and better throughout the movie. And yeah, there's a couple one-liners that don't hit, but then again, a lot of the jokes do hit. A lot of them are pretty funny. One of them came from Dr. Fate. He said, "It must have been my fate." And then like the whole squad goes silent, and he goes, "I'm Dr. Fate." I thought that was hysterical. It was the funniest part of the movie. I thought that was good. There's a lot of good moments like that. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet. I was late getting to it, but I'm so happy I watched it now. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say about it now. If I was to score it, damn, I would give this movie like a solid 9 out of 10 or like a 4 out of 5 stars, this is a solid fucking movie. The only other DC animated film I think tops it is Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox, right? And like various other Batman and Justice League films are probably a little better than this, but this is still very good. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about it. Did you see the movie? Did you like the movie? Are you looking forward to another Suicide Squad movie? I think that's what I'm most excited for. I want to see another Suicide Squad animated film. This has got me pumped for Suicide Squad now. I want to see these characters back again. Boomerang, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, they all lived at the end of the film. I wouldn't mind seeing them again. And that's it for now. Comment below, let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you all in the next one.